That's right. Hey now, it is 10/13, October the 13th, 2021. It's Sammy Hagar's birthday too.
Happy birthday, Sammy.
Happy birthday, Sam.
The Red
Happy
Rocker.
birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday
And
to Tom's
it's
mom.
Tommy's mom's birthday.
My mom's name is Jean.
Happy birthday, Mommy
Happy
G.
birthday.
Jean,
You
happy
know what's so
birthday.
funny, John? All of my
Jean.
best friends call my mother Mama Jean. That's
There
so
you go. See, now
Mama
I
Jean.
do too.
Nice.
And my sister's husband's family is like crazy Italian, so they all call her Nona, and they were like, "It will be Nona. It will be nothing else." So I got my niece. Have you ever seen the book, like the kids' book? It's called Strega Nona.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got in that book a while, years ago. There you go, Keith. Thank you.
Hey, Keith.
My mother is Sammy Hagar. That's why I came out so weird.
Van Mama Jean.
Very cool.
I had none of the money, none of the talent. Anyway.
Yeah.
So what's up, gentlemen?
Hey, guys.
Oh, look at that Explorer.
Red Rocker.
Yeah.
Sam. All right. Guys, how you doing?
Oh,
Neil,
so
John,
good.
Tommy,
Good,
Charles.
guys.
so good. So good.
Halenville.
Anyone been to any concerts lately?
Well, funny you should mention that. Yeah, I look forward to, as a matter of fact, that would probably be top of the show tonight if we didn't have a special guest joining us. But we've got a treat in store for our viewers tonight. A special guest joining us from, a land down under. But after that, I will be more than happy to share my experience at the Whisky last night on Sunset Boulevard, watching the mighty Mammoth WVH.
All right. Yeah.
And Charles's old stomping ground.
Yes, sir.
So
Love
I've got some stories about that show. I can't wait to tell you.
Oh,
Love it.
Lord. Yeah. Can't wait. We
Yep.
got a special guest in the green room. First, guys and girls in the chat, welcome Keith Campbell, Sandra Picorni, Mike Neese,
Sandra. Mike.
Christopher Live Sawa,
Christopher.
Welcome, everyone.
Brendan B. Squared,
Brendan.
Dan in New Jersey.
Dad, bro, what's up?
Oh, Kurt the Rev,
Kurt,
Keith
how you doing, brother?
H, Holly Lewis. Hey, Holly.
Hey, Holly.
How are you?
And I'm still scrolling. And that's to the top.
Lenny Lou,
Welcome.
Mary. Good to see
Lenny
you guys.
Lou. Hey, guys.
The T-Wiz podcast. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out.
I love all the usual suspects are back joining us tonight. Good
Hey,
to see
Andrew.
everybody.
Andrew, how you doing, bro?
Lenny Lou and Mary.
Yeah. Nice to see you guys. And welcome. Welcome.
Hey, become a guitarist today. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hey, what's
Yes.
going on, bro?
Hey, that actually is, let me give you a shout out. That's Adam Roach. He's a friend of Simon's, Simon Hosford, whom, as you all know, he's a friend of the show. And Simon referred Adam to me. Adam and I have been talking recently, and we've just solidified a deal for a custom build for him. We are
Nice.
going to,
Nice.
and we'll review it. We'll reveal it at some point on the show. But we're doing, per his specs, we're doing a variation of the Bumblebee, but not.
Nice.
We're building this to his specs, and so it's going to be neat.
Right.
It's going to be fun, and it's going to rock. So, Adam, thank you for
Very
tuning in.
cool.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you, man.
welcome.
Right on, bro.
That's cool, too. You
Welcome.
can do a variation, man. Some, throw some creative spin in there. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. He had a bunch of
Yeah.
ideas. We talked for days about making sure that we were. I was giving him exactly what he wanted, and
Yeah.
he didn't mind veering off the path a little bit. And I love that.
Yeah,
Because Eddie didn't copy anything. It was all his artistic endeavor.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
Yes, it
somebody
was.
else saying I want to make it my own.
Excellent.
I think it's, yeah, I mean, I think that a lot. Like, I know I don't have any tattoos. My brother's covered. And he said when he wants to get his stuff, he trusts his artists, and he would say, well, let me run something by you. Let me draw it both ways. And he was like, oh, it was actually better the way he suggested, like if you have, two people seeing it two different ways,
Sure,
I think you
sure.
always get a better kind of amalgamation of ideas.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right, kids, we are going to bring in our special guest.
Any guesses who it is?
Hold on to
Happy
your
harvest,
hats.
Is it Mama Jean?
Yeah.
All right, you guys know him. Let's see him, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Hosford, there he
Here you
is.
go, dude.
Yeah.
Simon.
Hey,
Welcome.
Tony, Neil, John, Ben
Live
Coombs.
and in person.
Carl. Yeah. Not in person, no, but live.
Welcome, Simon. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Simon, welcome,
Yeah.
dude. Nice
It's
to see
It's
you.
a pleasure to be on, absolutely.
Yeah, nice to see you.
So Simon, what time is it there? Is this morning?
No, it's just gone midday.
Midday. Cool.
Yeah. So
Simon's
15
in
hours?
Simon's in the future, everybody, by the way.
Man.
It's tomorrow where he lives.
Is it right?
Yeah. right, everything that happens to you guys has already happened to us.
Fucking, what are the lottery numbers?
Yeah.
You woke
Seriously.
up.
I'm gonna bet on
Yeah.
the Dodgers-Giants game tomorrow, so let me know who wins.
Well, actually,
Dodgers.
I've got to get my lottery numbers from Andrew in New Zealand because he's 2 hours ahead of me.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
The only one he can call is what? Does he know anyone on Easter Island? Maybe like,
Yeah, he's there's not many people Andrew can call for the Tats Lotto numbers, that's for sure, Yeah.
So Simon,
Yeah.
You got a new guitar.
I did. I had a new. Everyone loves when a new guitar arrives, but I had a very special new guitar arrive.
So why don't I jump in and kind of give a really quick little backstory about how this
Please,
happened?
Neil. Yeah.
So first of all, I would hope most of the people in the chat and most of our viewers have seen Simon's performance of the VH1 album that's been circulating for some time now. I discovered that, at least a year ago. And that was like on the top of my YouTube. I kept hitting my history to refresh it so I could watch again and again and again. This guy's fantastic.
Really
I just
good.
watched it today again, as a matter of fact.
Mhm.
Well, fast forward to maybe 3 months ago, 2 to 3 months ago, and Tom, lovely Tom, had referenced Simon. Was watching the show and he introduced us all, and I was like, oh, he's involved with us. He's in Halenville. And I think it was right around the time that I had sent Tony, Fruitcake Tony, the Frankie that we built. And so we were doing an episode, we were talking about guitars, and Simon reached out, and then he and I connected. And I've sold guitars to a lot of people in my day. I've never encountered somebody as sickeningly nice as Simon is. Oh my God. It drives you crazy. It makes you rethink everything you've done in your life. Guitar players are not supposed to be nice guys.
If Simon was as talented as he is and was like a total dick, it would be like, oh, okay, the universe balances.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make sense. Like, that's why it freaks me out. He doesn't make sense. Like,
exactly. He broke the mold, dude.
Players that good are supposed to have Ingve's attitude,
Yes. So Simon and I started talking. We started talking about a build, and we chatted probably every day for maybe 2 weeks, kind of fine-tuning exactly what he wanted. He wanted a 5150. He was specific. We both communicated. He wanted it to be tour relics, but almost right in the pocket of the Live Without a Net show. He didn't want it overly done, didn't want it underdone, didn't want it pristine looking, but he also didn't want it beat to hell, where the way it looks now. And he wanted same pickup sound, same that era. So I was like, right on. He got me right in the feels, because that was my Live Without a Net is my jam. So I knew exactly where he was coming from. Mm-hmm. So now the bonus to this was right around Halloween, I believe. No. God, it was supposed to be September, I think. Simon, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you had a show. He had a show, a hotel show gig lined up where he was going to play 2 sets. He was going to do the VH1 set, and then he was going to play the, a bunch of the after stuff, including the Live Without a Net solo. And so our target date for the guitar build was going to be that show.
Yeah.
And that's what we were working on, and we got it done. And I showed him pictures throughout the process, and we were in touch. We're communicating everything. At the last minute, I was just about ready to go. I'd say the guitar was about 95% done. And he, unfortunately, like you all are probably well aware, Australia has been in and out of quarantines nonstop throughout the past year. And so that show had to get bumped. And so I know he was brokenhearted about it. I was brokenhearted about it, but it allowed me a little bit more time to add some final touches on it. Like, for example, the Kramer B4129 neck plate I didn't have at the time. So I slapped that on there, authentic to the 5150. So a couple of little things like that. Finally, we got it done. And then there was an issue about was Australia accepting packages from the United States because of COVID restrictions. And so there was a period of about 2 weeks where I was talking to everybody I know about shipping and couldn't find somebody to do it. Pricing was ridiculous. Didn't know if it would get there. On September 21st, I finally got a go ahead from somebody at the post office that said, yeah, we can send one pricing package that we can send out this, and it fit it was just barely in the regulations in terms of the size of the box and whatnot. So I was good. So I bubble wrapped the shit out of this guitar, and I preface this because it's important that I mention that because this will come up later. I packed the crap out of that box and bubble wrapped it in a mountain of bubble wrap, put Fragile all over the box, and shipped it to Australia.
That's like your normal though, Neil. Your packaging is always that way because Tony's guitar was like Fort Knox.
Well, thank you for saying that because I do take pride in that. The one thing I would never want to have happen is somebody get a guitar from me and have it be broken.
There you go.
So I'm tracking the package for the last couple of weeks. It disappeared since September 24th. No updates, nothing from September 24th. All I heard September 24th is it left LAX, and that was it. I filed a claim with the post office. I had an investigation trying to track it. I had sent another guitar to somebody else in Australia during this time period. They received it, left me a great review, were bragging about how great it was, and they were excited. So finally, on October 10th, I believe, I get a message from the post office that says package is located. It's at the Australian post office, going to be delivered to Simon that day.
Wow.
So Simon and I are talking the whole time. We're in the clear. We're like, great. Okay. So we plan on doing this big reveal tonight. We're excited. He gets the box. I believe it was 2 days ago. I mean, this happened really quickly. So forgive me if I'm wrong. And I'm going to let him jump it. For those of you waiting for Simon to talk, trust me, my part of the story is almost done. So, because I know everybody's waiting for it. They're like, we don't care about shipping. But so Simon gets the box and we talked, planning on having the big reveal tonight in the unboxing. We're both excited about that. Both of us wanted to do that. Yeah. However, considering my work is on the line and my name is on the line, and something felt wrong about the fact that the box took longer than it should have, and we couldn't find it for a while. Something kind of felt wrong. So I talked to Simon and I said, hey, how do you feel about privately you and I unboxing it and making sure everything's okay before we do the show live? Because I don't want you to pull it out and have it be broken. We talked about it, and Simon, bless his heart, he knew how much we wanted to do the reveal live, but there was too much at stake. So he said, okay. So Simon and I jumped on a Zoom 2 days ago, and opened up the box, and it was broken. Headstock was broken.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Headstock was broken in the exact same spot as Eddie's broke after the OU812 tour, before the OU812 tour, where he had to add the 7th tuning peg underneath after he had the headstock fixed. Same exact spot. Wow. Now, luckily, Simon and I discussed this. I didn't know what to do. I felt terrible. I felt terrible regardless of how well I packed it. I felt like absolute god awful. Simon, again, being the sweetheart that he is, which just annoys the crap out of me, said, don't worry, this is fixable. I've got a guitar tech. I'm going to take it to my guy, Joe, and I'm going to give Joe a special shout out because we were live talking during the time he was with Joe. Joe said it's fixable. Don't worry about it. We can get this baby up and running and good to go. And we also realized at the same time, because of travel and because of the wear and tear Simon's going to put on this guitar, it's worth it for him to have a backup neck anyway. So, Simon, I'm showing you this for the first time. Here's your backup.
Hey!
This is your backup.
You're such a class act, Neil.
It's not broken. It's got minimal wear and tear, and per Simon's request, the fretboard is clean and maple and pristine, like a backup should, because it hasn't had the playability that the other one did. So
exactly.
Yeah. So long story short, thank God for Simon, his patience, his courtesy, and Joe, his guitar tech. We got the baby up and running, and now I'm going to hand the reins over to Simon for the worldwide big reveal of the 5150.
Nice.
Your show, kid.
Yeah. Well, look, if I was going to add anything to that, I would just say that I'm sure everybody can imagine what it would have felt like for Neil. So Neil and I did it over a live Zoom so that he could sort of watch the unboxing and stuff, which I think was really lovely. And I can only imagine his heartbreak when we discovered that the headstock was snapped. But as
Simon, when you say it was snapped right in the same place as Eddie's, do you mean it was snapped?
No.
In the same.
Tony, do you have the pictures? Is Tony still around? Tony, because Simon, the pictures you sent me, I said, there's the break. That's Simon's guitar with the break. Do you see the line?
Yep.
Yeah.
I
don't know if you guys can put up a picture of Eddie's with the break, but it is in an identical spot.
Oh
that's how it broke. Now, Tony, if you can show Eddie's actual guitar. Let's see.
You broke her G string off, but you broke her B string.
I only have those two.
Oh no, that's it?
Yeah.
I thought I sent you another one. Well, anyway, Simon, keep talking. I'm going to send Tony the Eddie version.
Great, no problem. So we also discovered. So obviously, I took it to my amazing guitar guy Joe from Guitar House, and he looked at it straight away and said, "Listen, this is going to be fixable." And it was also Joe that said to me, "You know what? This is actually where Eddie's headstock broke. That's why there's that 7th machine head on there." Oh, there you go. I think Neil's showing a photo.
Yeah, Tony, I just sent you. I just messaged you the Eddie, the back of Eddie's, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. And so look, obviously we thought, maybe we need to sort this out and then you do the reveal on a different show. But it sort of very quickly turned out that, maybe all these things happen for a reason. And like Neil said, it probably wouldn't have occurred to us to have a backup neck for when I'm on the road, which is obviously a valuable thing. And then when we realized that the break was in the exact same place as Eddie's, we thought that was kind of cool. And then we also discovered after the fact that it would have been in transit, and who knows exactly when it broke, of course, but it would have been on the way when it was the anniversary of the passing of Ed, and it was
I was going to ask that. That was my question, because you're right there in the zone.
Yeah.
And when Neil was saying from September 24, we lost track of the package. I mean, look, obviously the real explanation would probably be boring as batshit, but the explanation that I like to think is that maybe Ed sort of plucked it up into the clouds for a little while and said, he borrowed it and said, "You really want a guitar like mine? All right, I'll make it exactly like yours."
Wow.
So,
Wow.
There you go.
So there's
the back. So if you look from the B string, you can see it going down too, from the B string too. It's the same spot.
Wow.
So Simon actually, bless his heart, because I was heartbroken this whole time. But Simon said one of the coolest things I've ever heard, which he said, you built this, you put 99% of this guitar together. Eddie did the rest. And I thought that was just so profound and beautiful and amazing. And it makes for one hell of a story, man.
Yeah, it makes for a gorgeous story. And I really do believe, look, regardless of what the real truth is, why not? I mean, it was the anniversary of Eddie's passing. Everyone was doing, paying their love and doing shows about Eddie. At the time, it would have been in transit when roughly when the headstock broke. So that's the story I'm going to have with me for the rest of the time that I'm playing this guitar, and I just think, I think the fact that it was fixable and salvageable and in such a short amount of time, like it only arrived in Melbourne 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's all in one piece and playing like a dream is even better. So yes.
Can we mention your tech, his name, or give him a plug or a promotion? Because
sure.
There, he can do that 2 days for you, man. That's all.
Yeah, no, he's at the moment he's busier than ever. I guess because of lockdowns and COVID, everyone's getting their guitars fixed. Because why not? It's a perfect.
He's good, obviously.
Yeah. It's the perfect.
Because he's good.
What was that?
Because he's good.
He is good, but and because he's one of the best in Melbourne, he's just inundated. So he's just scrambling to keep up with all the work. And so, of course, then there's me shoving a guitar saying, can you fix this headstock and get this guitar ready to play in like 48 hours? And,
wow.
He's a beautiful man. His name's Joe Occhipinti, and his business is called Guitar House in Melbourne. And he's if anyone needs guitar setups or guitar repairs, he is an absolute legend. So
Excellent.
And he squeezed this in, and now I've got a girl, and of course I don't know about you guys, but most of my guitars are girls. Not all of them. There are a couple of males, but I think. But anyway, I didn't want to call this guitar just the 5150 guitar, because that's Ed's guitar, I guess. So I thought, well, what do I call her? And I've decided that since the spec was exactly to Live Without a Net, we would call her Annette.
Yes.
Very
yes.
cool.
Nice.
So it was going to be called Annette from this day forward, and her neck is her head. She's gone and had some plastic surgery on the face, so she's all good. and now she's ready for a spanking. So that's
excellent. Excellent. So can we see the guitar?
You ready for a drum roll, Simon?
So I do happen to have Annette right here, of course, and
that's beautiful, man. That is absolutely gorgeous. You know, Neil, you build great guitars, buddy. You really do.
Also,
thank you, Charles.
I do have to tell you that Neil went above and beyond, and he managed to find also a period correct mid-'80s Floyd Rose to put on it.
Wow.
So it's even more special. I mean, you can see from what Neil has done with the paint job and then relicking it. I mean, it is perfectly the 5150 video, the right amount of red off here, the little scratches here, a little bit of gaffer tape for the picks wear, but not too much. And I'll show you the back. The back's all perfect as well.
That's beautiful.
Nice.
Look at that.
I was going to say you've already got plenty of belt buckle wear, but that sounds bad. So
yeah, we put the big brass block in it, the 37 millimeter block too, so that sustain will hold a little longer.
Oh yeah, I've noticed. Yep, definitely sustains. And then the pickup that Neil had put in for me was a Pariah Pasadena Black, which I believe that Sean relicked a little for the guitar. So the screws and everything are just slightly oxidized, and it's gorgeous. It's perfectly period correct. Then Neil also, I've got to show the fretboard. Look at that. I mean,
man, that's beautiful. Look at that.
That is almost exactly the wear that Eddie has. Obviously, I'm going to do the rest personally, so that's fine.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
It's all about a starting point. And there is the brand new fit Kramer headstock.
Wow.
And Joe was asking me, he said, do you want me to make it so that you can't see the crack line after I've repaired it? And I said, no, I definitely want to see the crack line because it's part of the story now.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
All right.
Yes.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Also, if you look at those photos that you just put up of Eddie's one, you can see the crack line in his too. So
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
And it plays gorgeously. It sounds incredible, and it's absolutely perfect. So, Neil, thank you ever so much, brother. I promise this will be treasured and will be played within an inch of its life.
That's the way it should be, man. That's the way it should be.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I couldn't have had a better customer though, considering, there's a whole, like I said, there's packing is part of the package, and getting it to the customer in one piece is part of the package. So there's a lot of ways this could have spun out of control, and you could have reacted completely different than you did. And I just want to give you credit because you're like me. You're like, okay, let's not dwell on it. Let's solve the problem.
Because I mean, look, the other thing is, I know I look like I'm 18, but I'm actually not. And no, I'm kidding. but the thing is, I mean, I've traveled and toured enough over all the last decades that sometimes, and especially with airlines and freight, you just don't know how it's handled when it's out of your eyesight. And shit happens all the time. I mean, I've had pedal boards in pieces. I've had guitars break. And unfortunately, it would be nice if it wasn't something that you kind of like 20% expect, but unfortunately you just do. What I can say to anyone listening to this, though, is Neil's packaging was second to none. I mean, we were on the Zoom together.
It took you about 10 minutes.
It took me about 10 minutes just to get all the wrapping off it. And I had a box cutter as well, so I wasn't cheating, and trying to do it with my fingernails. Now, it was really, really, the headstock had so much bubble wrap like twisted around it that honestly, the only thing that I can think has happened is that this box has ended up underneath some other kind of road case or a crate, and the whole thing's just landed on the head and it just crushed it, because
is the box all crushed or anything? The box itself?
I mean, a box is a box. You expect them to be a bit beaten up when you get them. So yes, it does have signs of maybe that it's not a perfect box, but I'm also imagining it probably wasn't exactly pristine when it left Neil either, because a box is a box, So
right.
Honestly, a bit hard to tell. It wasn't like one side of the box was collapsed in, but with the insulation of the bubble wrap and all those other things, it doesn't actually take much pressure to if something very heavy lands on it,
It doesn't.
Simon, can I remind you one of the funniest things about the night at Bro, and we can laugh about this now, thank God we can laugh about it. But one of the funniest things about when he pulled it out and you've got the tip of the headstock flopped down like this, and I'm literally, my jaw dropped with fear, and Simon strums it and he goes, hey, it's still in tune with the locking nut. First thing he thought, he's like, I can still play it.
I don't know what possessed me to try and play a chord on the guitar when I put the headset in, but I thought, why not? Let's just see. I couldn't believe it was in tune. So there you go. There is something to be said for a locking system, because you can snap your headstock off and still get through the show.
Isn't that something though, man?
Oh yeah, that's really, really something. And I've already given her a really good crank. Through my Sir SL68, just dimed the way Eddie did it, and she sounds awesome. So
Hey Simon, is it? I hate to ask you this, man.
Sure.
Could you plug that thing in and crank?
I was going to go there.
I'm sorry. I
sure.
don't mean to put you on the spot. It's not like this is international and there's a million people who could watch it at any moment. I don't want to make you nervous, but that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Simon's like Chuck Norris. He doesn't get nervous. He gets even.
I know that. That's why I asked him, though.
Oh, man. Back in the day when people didn't read things on their phones and you had to buy like little books, there used to be this one you could buy at an airport, which was all of Chuck Norris's quotes. And
I have it.
That was, you've got it? Yeah, great.
Yeah, I've got it.
Man, and that thing entertained me on many an international flight. That was just the perfect companion for your hand luggage,
It's fantastic.
Excellent.
Yeah. But yes, of course, I would love to give it a play.
Oh.
I've been I've been working on obviously bits of the Live Without a Net guitar solo in preparation for our show. So maybe I won't bore you with all of it, but maybe I could just play like the first minute or something, and everyone can get to see the girl in action.
Oh, that's really
Simon,
great.
you played to your heart's desire, and I think I can speak for everybody in the live chat. You're not going to bore anyone.
No,
Boing.
no, even a little bit.
Well, then I have to confess that I can't play all 13 minutes because I haven't learned the rest of it yet. But the truth is, I sort of know most of it, like we all do, like the little bits, like Cathedral and the Mean Street intro. But what I'm trying to do is piece it together so I could actually play along with it for the whole 13 minutes, which is kind of tricky, but it's fun,
The part
so I'm going to do a little sound check, and you guys can tell me if it's the right volume or whatever, How's that? Too loud? Too quiet?
Sounds
No,
good.
good.
Sounds awesome. Can you do us a favor, Simon? Can you slide back from the camera a bit so we can get more of the guitar? Yeah, there we go.
Excellent.
What's up, Dave?
How's that?
Perfect.
Looks good. I want you to be comfortable, obviously. But
So what I've got her plugged into is the Dime Damp. So I mean, on the Melbourne Guitar Show, as most of you know, I used a Kemper, and that was just a function of the economy of the day. There were so many bands, and we knew we wouldn't get a sound check, and I just thought, bugger it. And and you've got to be mindful. It's not your show. You're there as part of an expo, and you're part of all those other great guitarists. So it served its purpose, and it sounded really good. But what I thought I would do, like, this girl, Annette, she has to go through a real amp on 10. So that's what's going on.
You gotta clip this later.
So at the moment, all I've got on this from my studio system in Pro Tools is just a tiny bit of reverb and a tiny bit of 300 millisecond delay like Eddie used to do. And that's it. There's no distortion pedals. There's no nothing. This is just her and the amp. That's it. Oh, that's right. I need someone to play the drums.
Wow, that's intense, man.
We got some
oh
takers.
my
for the drums.
god,
Dude.
Is the volume level all right? I can keep going a little bit.
Yeah.
keep going,
Right.
keep going, man.
So we'll just imagine some drums.
Hell yes.
Man, she sounds good, that thing. She sounds good.
Heck yes,
Awesome.
man. Oh,
Awesome.
Simon, thank you. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Mic drop, dude. Mic drop. I got nothing left to say.
Kill it.
Dude,
Oh,
Thank you, Neil.
dude.
He plays like a dream, brother, like a dream.
well, it also,
Hey,
and,
Neil.
I can do so much with the pickups and the sound, but it's all in the hands. Eddie always said it's in the hands, and you've got it, brother. You've got it.
Dude,
Right
dude,
on.
thank you, Simon. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that so
nails that
much.
sound too, because everyone plays it with way too. When most people do it, they do it with way too much amp gain, like preamp gain.
Yes, you're
And,
right.
and it doesn't sound right when you play it just through a dined, more vintage style Marshall, through a plexus style circuit. That's what it is.
You're absolutely right, Tom. There is something about the sound of power tubes and a transformer absolutely at its limit that is the key to the attack on the pick of Eddie's sound. You can, if you get all the gain from the preamp, it's just not the same. You don't there's no sponge, but there's also no clip of the pick attack,
Yeah.
One of my teachers described it to me. I was taking this acoustics class in college, and he described it as when you have preamp gain, because hey, I had specialized classes I could take that were actually about modern tube amplifiers and different things. And he said when you have a preamp gain and an amplifier stage, what you have with those style amplifiers when they distort is it's almost like compression is to any audio signal. You're kind of tempering how much variance you can have between, with your dynamics essentially. When you're using power amp distortion, it's really like equivalent to something like pure analog, where you have the full range of human hearing,
Yeah.
and that makes, a big difference. And I think also the overtones, with the power amp distortion that you just can't get with preamp.
I totally agree. And one of the other things that you just said is the harmonics that you get from driving power tubes and also power transformers into saturation is completely different to the overtones you get by just driving a preamp and then a clean power amp and clean transformers. It's a completely different. It's also why I've always loved the sound of a cranked combo at a little club gig, is because you're working the power tubes and the transformers, whereas obviously with a lot of high powered like half stacks and stuff, you're just never working the output section loud hard enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Simon. With now, are you going to add the extra?
Oh, the extra machine head.
Yeah, are you going to add the extra one?
Look, that's a good question, and it's something that obviously I considered, because it would take some tension off the tip of the headstock that's got the join. I think that like Joe, who fixed it, is confident that the join is good, so it doesn't really need for any tension to be taken off. Yeah. And the other thing is just visually, like aesthetically, that Live Without a Net video is the look of the guitar I grew up with, which only has the 6 machine head. So I think I'm going to start with that, and like maybe down the track, if it becomes an issue, sure, I would have no trouble adding that 7th one on the other side. But I think for now, there's no reason to just keep it at the 6.
I didn't know if Joe needed to make you another one in a different place. Your check.
We discussed it, and we could put a machine in that same place that Eddie put his 7th one there. That'd be no problem to do it. I think for me it was just a visual thing of that. I would just prefer the look of the 6 tuning pegs if we can get away with it. But Joe's confident the join is good, so yeah. I think we're good.
Yeah, you want to keep. I mean, our whole intention off the bat was for that concert, the Live Without a Net era. Right, so
that's right. That's right.
So yeah, if that joint holds, then visually that's what you got.
Yeah,
I got to be honest with you. I hate that 7th tuner down at the bottom. I just I want to remember that guitar like the way it was in '86.
I think for Eddie it was just function.
Yep.
It was function over form. Yeah. He just wanted it to work. But I agree. I don't like the look of it either, John.
No, I hate it.
Tom, that expression function over form is just perfect. That is exactly what Eddie always was right from the beginning, wasn't it? Everything was just about how does it function. And that's why like the Frankie guitar looks the way it does with all the cavities and stuff, because it's completely just function over form.
Yeah.
Yeah, in some ways, the 5150 guitar was the perfection of the Frankenstein. You know, that was the prototype.
Yeah.
And then it was realized in the 5150. You know, everything that he did on that guitar. If you look at that, that's the polished kind of model when he first got it. Was the 5150. You know,
it's like a home-built Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly.
I really do agree with that, John. Yeah, I think that is all of his ideas from the mid 70s on got distilled down into this kind of one thing where the paint job was exactly what he wanted without different versions, and then he had, you know, the one pickup without all the extra cavities. And I think you're right. I think it was exactly like at that period in time in the mid 80s, it was his perfect pure guitar, you know.
And that's why I believe he used that guitar on 1984. I mean, a lot of people don't. I always argue with people about it, but I believe that he was into that guitar big time by then when they were recording that, and he always said it was a workhorse, that guitar, you know. And, so I believe we're hearing that guitar on 1984.
I do too. I do too.
I have no doubt. You know, can I actually, speaking of 1984, just real quick, I think that people talk a lot about what different guitars he was using and different pickups on the various albums, because especially at around that time, some people hear that his sound was kind of like less thick and fuzzy like the first album. It was kind of like a bit lower gain almost maybe, and you could hear the wood in the guitar a bit more. And so therefore, what guitar was he using and all of this? I actually, and I don't know this because I haven't read it anywhere, but just from my own mucking around with my rig in preparation for the show and over the last couple of years, I firmly believe that really all that happened is that he was going direct into his plexi instead of running through the Echoplex and the 10-band graphic EQ, which we know he used to do in the late 70s. And that really drives that first stage of the Marshall so hard that there's so much gain and thickness in the low mid. And then when you get to dive it down in 1984, you can almost it's one of those sounds where if you backed his volume off even a little bit, it would clean up quite a lot. And I think it's less to do with how he set the amp and what guitars and pickups he was using, and more to do with that he just wasn't using the Echoplex in the front anymore, boosting that input stage. And if you think about those records, there was no Echoplex on that stuff. All the delay and reverb was post-production on those ones.
Right.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, with all the 1984 era videos I've seen, if you ever watch like a live video of the tour and you listen to the concert, if you get a good clean quality of the audio recording of it, you can hear it's a cleaner guitar sound at that point when he was playing live.
It's so clean.
Yeah, it's totally.
How is he playing that? It's painful.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fingers, dude. Right? That's the fingers.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's playing a Fender amp. So clean.
You know he had two pedal boards on the 1984 tour. One Rudy had, and they had an identical one that Ed had on stage, so that Rudy, if Ed was running around the stage, Rudy could hit the other identical pedal board. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. You know, we did something, speaking of the 84 tour, just for shits and giggles, on the back of Simon's guitar, I actually measured out where the plexi, the flip stand would have been on the back, and I drilled the holes into the back, even though it's not there, but just to keep it as accurate as possible. So in the wood,
that's killer.
They are.
Yeah,
because he had a wood plank and then he had a plastic one too at two different times, and they weren't in the same places. So there's all kinds of holes in the back of that guitar.
Yeah, you guys
I love it. There's holes everywhere where Eddie would have drilled at some point, and I just love that about it, Neil.
Yeah, even in the back end with the eye clip on the bottom end. At that point during the tour, he had about 3 or 4 holes. Now we know nowadays that there's about 12 holes. There's a dozen holes in the back of the guitar, but at that time there were a couple. So
yeah. That's awesome. So awesome.
You guys got to post some photos of the guitar. Simon, if you get a chance, or Neil, if you got them, just post them up.
Yeah,
there.
I've got some. Yeah. I'll be happy to post them. And then I'm more than anything else in the world, though. Tonight made my night seeing Simon play it live. And then on top of that, I can't wait. I know, Simon, you're itching to get out there and play live again. I know this show keeps being bumped. But when you get that date and you get to play that show, I mean, that's going to be the end all be all of my work.
Well,
I'm done. I'm retiring.
Yeah.
That's going to be a very, very special moment for me too, Neil, using that guitar for, the whole second part of the show and doing a lot of tracks off the 5150 record, but also other stuff as well from 1984 and a few other things. And look, we're obviously going to be filming it, and I'm going to end up mixing it. And so you'll get to see that baby in all its glory doing its thing. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, considering what you guys put together with your mix of the VH1 concert that you played at the guitar show, that it sounds like you're listening to a record. It's insanely good. So and then of course I got the cheat sheet. Simon actually sent me what the set list was for this show coming up. So when he sent me that, that just took it to a new level. So,
do you still have that handy, Neil?
Yeah, I sleep. It's underneath my pillow.
He kisses it every night. He goes, "No, I do."
Yeah. Good night, second set list.
No, I meant if you had it handy, you'd be welcome to flip it up on the screen if you want.
This is what I
don't have it handy. I can search through my messages. I still got it from what you sent me. I'll look for it.
No. Yeah.
So, any questions, people?
Hey, Neil.
Anything? Yeah, Charles.
Nice build, brother.
Thank you.
Nice build.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Guitar, buddy.
So
it's a wonderful experience. I just want to add this really quick. It's a wonderful moment. I don't know if you guys can realize what I'm going through right now, but when your vision is actually realized exactly the way you'd hoped it would, there's nothing I would have done differently. It came out exactly. And you can't say that about every single build you make, no matter how hard you try. You always end up looking at it the next day being like, oh my God, there's a stripe I missed, or something like that. This was my vision of what I wanted this to be, and obviously what Simon's vision was, I think was crystallized. So thank you guys.
I think sometimes artists, whether it's visual or making a guitar or playing the guitar, forget that you're no different than an athlete. You have on days and off days.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, all of us know you wake up some days and you're like, holy shit, how did I play that? And some days you wake up and go, oh my God, I'm giving this up. Like, I'm not. Or like you're saying with painting, you're like, what the hell was I doing yesterday? Who did this? And then like the next day you're like, you come down and you go, wait, did I do that? Damn, that was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
You turn the amp on, it sounds like crap.
It's like
Yep, and just like an athlete, as soon as I was done building that, I had to go sit in the cold tub for a little bit. So thank you, Charles, though. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Great job.
Couldn't have gone to a better person.
No.
Oh man, I'm so honored to have it, and thank you so much, Neil, for all your really hard work. Every little detail, it's very clear how much love you put into it, and it's going to be equal to the amount of love I put into it now. So thank you.
Absolutely, right on, man. Couldn't have said it better.
Very cool, Simon. Very cool.
Let me, while I've got it. Find it.
I'll be right back.
Neil.
Yo.
Your links are down below. If anybody wants to contact Neil about a build. Yes,
I appreciate that. And actually, and Simon, I mentioned your friend Adam Roach. He and I got something going on too.
That's awesome. Yes, Adam told me that you're doing a bespoke bumblebee variation. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. And it was good. This is, he and I together put in some time on his build because he was asking a lot of questions. And at first I just kind of wanted to, my generic response is, well, authentic to the bumblebee, this is what the bumblebee had, and blah, 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 and these kind of things. And then he was kind of leaning towards, and I don't want to give the ending away. I don't want to ruin it, but there were some things that he wanted differently. And it took me a minute to say, well, are you sure? Because that's not authentic to the bumblebee. I want to make sure I'm giving you what you want, but I want you to understand that there's a difference. And we, so we got on the same page, and he communicated. He was like, I want the variation. I don't want it to look, I don't want a replica.
He wants
I want
his own kind of thing with it. Yeah.
And I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier to do something like my take on that guitar, but with everything that he wants in it and what we're going to do with it and the body contour and the pickups and all this. Like it's going to be an exciting build. And I'm so happy that, again, this is, it's a custom build. It's custom for him. It's exactly what he wants.
Great. Awesome. It's going to be gorgeous. I have no doubt. I can't wait to see that.
Cool.
Not to give it away, but how much of a variation is it?
It's going to be the same body shape. I'll leave it at
that. Tony's like a kid that can't wait.
Good answer.
I know.
I'm dying to know. It's okay.
Can't hurt to ask.
Yeah. No. He had a lot of really cool ideas too. There was a lot of stuff that he's playing and he's. I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. And we'll have him on the show when we do his.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. All righty. I'm going to get another Gatorade.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the show last night. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. If anybody's monitoring the chat, if there's other questions for Simon while we have them, I don't want to keep you here all night, man, but
all afternoon.
All afternoon. Yeah. How's tomorrow afternoon look for you?
Sorry guys, I gotta go. I'm getting pretty tired. It's like 1 p.m.
Yeah. Time for your siesta.
Time for my nap. Yeah.
So are those racetracks in the background on your monitor?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing, Tom.
Oh yeah, they are. I'm a big fan of Formula One, so yeah, my screensaver is all racetracks from around the world.
Very cool.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey John, actually, while we've got a little lull here, I got to tell you, brother, that your Halenville theme is slamming.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of stretching it out into a whole song now.
Oh, good. Well, then I can't wait to hear that. That's going to be super cool. But it absolutely is perfect for the show. It fits like a glove and killer playing.
About 3/4 of the way through the music part of it, and then I'm probably hitting Neil up to throw some. I have some idea for lyrics and stuff like that, like that, and I'm gonna throw it to him and see if he can come up with anything.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of ideas already, man. I got to trim it down from like a 7-minute song.
I have a title for it already, though.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll work it in.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Okay. All right, I can work with that. Actually, I can work with that with some of the notes I have.
Yeah.
I can work that in.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's John, it's funny every time it does come on because as soon as the theme's done, you're sitting here in the room with us. I always feel like I want to thank you again every single week. Every single week, I always want to be like, thanks, man. I feel obligated.
It's so funny. Like I said, I had that in my head for 25 years. Literally, I'm not even joking you. 25 years ago, and I was like, oh, this sounds too much like a Van Halen riff. So I just never did anything with it, But you never know.
It's funny. You never throw anything away because you just never know, down the track when it's going to be perfect for something.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So
it's Sammy's birthday today, right?
Yeah.
Sammy's birthday.
I don't know if he still does. I imagine that he does, but I've heard that he usually throws pretty good parties for his birthday. And I know this because I worked a lot with, do you guys know, based in LA, a front of house guy called Michael Ace Baker? I don't know. He's a really great friend of mine, and I toured with him a lot with Colin Hay. And
he's a big time guy. I know the name, yeah.
Yeah. So he does the front of house for Chicken Foot and Dream Theater and Sammy and all this stuff, Paul Gilbert. And anyway, he was telling me about some of Sammy's parties, and they sound like lots of fun.
Oh yeah.
Well, he was Sammy's party. It was either last weekend or this weekend. I know it was around his birthday, but he does a thing. He does like 3 days in Catalina Island, right off of right off the coast. So I mean, I saw like tickets for that thing were going for like 3 days. Of course, Catalina, you have to take a boat out there and get a hotel and stuff like that, and they jack up the price for this kind of thing. So it's an expensive ticket just to go see him play. But
did he used to do them in Cabo or no?
I'm sure he did. Yeah,
he did. I think he's doing it this year like he did last year because of COVID.
Yeah, but Catalina is not. Charles knows that's a 40-minute boat ride right off the coast. So that would have been.
I used to sail with my friend Jeff. He used to take his dad's sailboat out off of Redondo Beach Harbor. And one night, I'll tell you a quick story. So one night, the boat's on autopilot. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. We're down inside. We're oblivious to what's going on, and we hear this air horn, the loudest horn you've ever heard out of nowhere. We're in the middle of the ocean. We're still miles from Catalina. It was an oil tanker, and it was a quarter mile off what would have been to our right as we're heading towards Catalina, and scared the crap out of us, man. It was unbelievable.
Oh my god!
I've been to Catalina a couple of times.
Catalina effing wine.
It's a fun place. Fun place.
Yeah.
Charles, have you ever stopped in at Prestige Worldwide when you were there? The only time I went up there was with this helicopter rental company, but didn't really take off.
No,
boats
brother.
and hose. Boats and hose.
Yeah. Oh Lord!
And then one time I was in the Billy Joel band, but we were only an '80s Billy Joel song cover.
So Neil, last night, dude, we went live with you for a little while.
Yeah, let me tell you guys about last night.
Dude.
So
Whiskey.
Okay, so back in August, and I'll give you a quick backstory about last night's show. So back in August, during the middle of the Guns N' Roses tour with Wolfgang playing, and Guns N' Roses is coming through LA, and about, I want to say it was like 2 days before the show, something like that. The tickets were Wolfgang tweeted something like playing a show at the Whiskey. And in a couple of days, and I knew it was coming up really quickly. It was a very short announcement to showtime, and I saw the tweet at maybe like noon, so about 10 after 12. I jump on, and it took me to like Ticket Web or something, which is the Whiskey's ticketing site, and I jumped in and I saw that tickets were available for that night. It was the middle of August or something, and it said limit 4 tickets per person. So first thing I do, try to buy 4 tickets. It says sorry, there's not enough tickets available for that. I'm like, damn, okay, so I'll buy 2. So I tried to buy 2 tickets, said sorry, unavailable. So I'm like, oh my god. So I'm assuming the show sold out. It must have sold out already. But just for the hell of it, I'm like, all right, well, I'll try and buy 1. And I bought a ticket and I got through. And I bought the ticket. So then I thought, oh wow, maybe they're only selling single tickets now. Maybe the notice was wrong. So I'm like, okay, so I tried to buy a second ticket and then it said show sold out. So I literally got one of the last tickets for that show.
Wow.
So I was ecstatic and I was telling you guys about it and this was great. And everybody, I don't know if everybody had seen him yet. I think you guys hadn't seen him yet. So I was going to see him first. And then, COVID happened and they postponed that show, moved it to October. And tickets were still going to be honored and all this stuff. So long story short, we get to last night. Tony and I talked about this ahead of time and I'm excited. And I was going to stream from, at the show. And Charles, it was the max capacity, legal capacity. I think you said was 327. Is that right?
No, 372 is actual legal plus all the, people who work there.
Yeah.
So you're pushing 415, 20. They'll throw an extra 50 people into there here and there. Yeah. And then there's backstage passes, people coming through the back door. Right. That club does not hold 500 people. It doesn't hold 500 people. Well, it does as long as they're spilling out the doorways.
Sure, right.
But yeah, max capacity 425 you could have.
So think about how intimate that is. Think of 400 people.
The best damn club on the Sunset Strip, guys. There's no doubt about it.
So I go down. So I know, and for those of you not familiar with LA, the Whisky, the Roxy, and the Rainbow Bar and Grill are a stone's throw away from each other, all on the same side of the street, all within walking distance. You park for one, you go to all of them. And that's classic rock and roll Sunset Boulevard right there. So I talked to Tony last night, and we were like, hey, I'm going to stream. Maybe I'll check out the line. I'll get down there early. I'll make sure I got a place to park, and then we'll stream live, and I'll, talk about the lead up to the show, and I'll whatever. So about 5:30 my time, or maybe closer to 6. I head down there. I got down there okay, and then there wasn't much of a lineup outside yet, and the doors were set to open at 7:30, showtime 8:30, something like that. But there was really nobody in line yet. And knowing that there's only about 400 people there, I also knew I didn't have to wait in line for 2 hours for the show. It's not that there's just not going to be that many people. So I went over to the Rainbow, and then I joined, we launched the stream last night, and I started talking to everybody and telling it, we did a little mini tour of the Rainbow, and I was walking around, and half the people at the Rainbow were there going to the Whisky. And then my phone starts dying. So I started to get a little nervous, saying, okay, this streaming on my phone, doing the StreamYard thing is eating up all my juice. So I had to jump off that, and I got a little nervous. So I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I have enough for video and for pics of the concert and whatnot. So this is still 2 hours before showtime. And of course, everybody I know is calling me the whole time I'm there. I'm on the phone talking to all my friends. Everybody from, in Chicago are calling me. All my friends in LA calling me. Everybody's asking. So I'm on the phone the whole time. Finally, when it's about 7:30, I'm going to walk down there to get in line. My phone's about dead. And I started thinking, well, okay, worst case scenario, I can't take video. I can't take pictures, but there's going to be so many people that are going to film it. It's not going to be a problem. The videos will be on YouTube immediately.
Right. They're already there.
Yeah. So my phone dies as I'm walking to the Rainbow. To the Whisky. And at this point, they'd already started letting people in. So the line was 20 people long, and they're kind of moving in. They're kind of streaming in. I get to the door, and I realize my ticket is on my phone, and my vaccination card is on my phone, my digital vaccination card. So I can't get in. So I run back to the parking lot, turn on my car. Thank God I had a charger in the car. So I spent the next half hour sitting in my car, charging my phone just to get enough juice so I could get back into the show. So I it wasn't a half hour. It was probably like 10 minutes. But I finally get enough juice just to get in. And all I cared about was being able to get through the door. That's all I cared about. So then I hustle back, and I get in. I show the guy my thing, and it was just about Wolfgang's about ready to play, and put my phone in my pocket, so I couldn't film anything, couldn't take any pictures, didn't care. Got a great standing seat right back. Charles knows there's a stairway alongside where you first go. There's stairways on both sides because there's an overhead balcony that is, tables and VIP and stuff like that. I got a great seat. Now, for those of you, again, I can't describe enough how intimate this setting is. The Whisky,
you were 25 feet from the stage. Neil.
25 feet. Yeah, 25 feet from the stage. There's probably maybe 7 people total in front of me until you get to me. That's how small the club was. And on top of that
again, John, the one you showed.
Oh, the pic, yeah. And then on top of that, the sound quality of this club is just unreal. Of course, it's got to be. You figure if you got a name like the Whisky and you've been playing, yep. So that's the view from probably about my angle. That would have been right over my head. That's a balcony camera shot from probably right above where I was standing. And if you count people going back from the front row, there's there's maybe 6, 7 people until you get to me. That's how small the show was. And so anyway, that's my adventure just getting in the place. But every seat every place you could stand is a good seat. There's no bad angles. There's no obstructions of view. It was just awesome. So let me tell you about the show. So, first of all, the first thing I noticed right away, they come down, they walk down from the balcony, they walk right on stage, and immediately launch into "Don't Back Down." And I noticed there were only 4 people on stage, only 4.
That too. Yeah.
Frank Sidoris, the guitar player, who had played with Slash and Miles Kennedy and those guys, he wasn't there. I'm like, okay, well, this is one of those things. This was kind of an off gig. It wasn't scheduled. They were supposed to play it during the tour. Maybe he had another thing going on.
Well, the Whiskey's got a small stage, guys.
Well, wait, I'm gonna come to it. He actually talked about it. So,
okay.
Well, I'll just cut to the chase. At one point, so Wolfgang gives a shout out to Frank, who couldn't be there. Apparently, on the way into LA from Vegas, Frank Sidoris and his wife, Alexandria Finley, I believe her name is, had a really bad car accident, and she's in the hospital. Frank Sidoris' wife is in the hospital on a back brace, and she's not going to be walking for about 6 months. Wow. And it was apparently it was really bad. I even looked it up today to see if everything Wolfgang said checked out, and it was and so my thoughts and prayers go out to Frank and his wife. She's she's beautiful, and Frank I love as a guitar player, and they're just he's posted pictures of them in the hospital. Thank God they're alive, and thank God for all intents and purposes it sounds like they're going to be okay. She's going to be okay. It's going to be a long recovery. But she also, I also believe she battled cancer and beat cancer before. So really? she is no stranger to fighting. And I know that if this message ever gets out to them or in anyone in Wolfgang's camp, I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to rebound from this because they're fighters. So
good.
I'm going to say that. So there's my message to Frank and Alexandria.
That was the first thing I noticed when I saw one of the videos posted. That I watched, I noticed he was missing, and I thought, well, maybe they just downsized. I was hoping actually they just downsized.
Yeah, and I thought so too. And here's the weird thing. The irony is that Frank doesn't do a lot of the harmony parts that the other guitar player does.
Right.
So they actually didn't really miss anything sonically from their show. Wolf played a little bit more. The guitar parts where a lot of the songs during the tour he would just kind of sing, let the two, and he'd come in for the choruses. So they doubled all the guitar parts, and they had he had the 2 and sometimes 3-part harmonies. So they didn't miss anything sonically. And they sounded fantastic, and they rocked, and they brought all the same energy. They played everything off the album except Circles. That was the only song that they didn't play. They did play for anybody that got the Japanese import. There's a B-side from the album called Talk and Walk, or Walk and Talk. That they played that song, and if anybody wants to hear it, it's a rocker. It's a good song. It was a great introduction to the set list. And Eddie, I'm sorry, I apologize. Wolfgang played one hell of a guitar solo in that song. He's got a ripping solo.
They played that a couple of times this tour.
Yeah, I knew they must have, because a lot of the people around me sang the lyrics to it. So there were some singers. People were familiar with it, which I thought was really cool. Unlike if a lot of the crowd seeing Wolfgang during the tour were there for Guns N' Roses. So this was 100% Wolfgang fans. This was everybody there was a Mammoth fan.
Yeah.
It was such a good show. It was so good to be back in a rock venue. Great sound. They played great. No real surprises. I got to admit, I was kind of holding out hope for some crazy, maybe Alex jump on stage and play drums or some encore. No real surprises, but they didn't need to. It was clean. It was crisp. They are a well-oiled machine right now. Just working through, not a whole lot of small talk. He was happy to be back in LA. He mentioned that when they, their first encore, they played Distance, and it was kind of interesting. He did the same kind of quick intro that he always does. Didn't really mention. Everybody knows what the song's about. He doesn't have to say anything. And it got eerily quiet. The whole crowd was very, very quiet and kind of respectful, but almost people didn't know, like, are we supposed to clap and cheer and sing, or is this, it was a little bit eerie. But then as the song picked up and it got to the big ending, everybody was in.
Sure.
I think my favorite, the highlight for the night for me, I honestly think was Feel. I think that was seeing that in a live setting with the energy where you've got a bass breakdown, a guitar solo, a drum breakdown, and he starts getting the crowd to clap with and everything. That was the energy of that song was just off the charts, off the charts.
Excellent.
He changed guitars a bunch of times.
You got to see him in the absolute best venue you could see him in LA.
Absolutely. You know, I was trying to check out his rig. I was trying to check out his gear and stuff like that. You could see
partial, Charles.
I know. Of course I am. I'm a guitar guy.
It's the truth. Look, it's the truth. All right. That's all.
But yeah, so he played just about everything he played on the tour. Most of his guitars are big guitars. Big like the 335s, he grabbed a Wolfgang at one point. He did play like Eddie's the EVH 5150 stealth black 2 pickups for the song Feel. I thought that was cool that he did that. And then and that was about it. You know, it was I mean, I was kind of speechless at the end. It was everything I'd hoped it would be. I was happy to be there in that kind of, that's a memorable show, just being in that venue, being at the Whisky, being with that small a crowd. I've seen 1,000 concerts in my time, but this is one I'm going to remember. This is one that was, it was the kind of energy and the kind of concert that makes you even appreciate the album more when you walk away. You were like, oh my God, I can't wait to hear this again. So it was that. So I'm thankful that I was able to get in. I apologize to all my friends and my girl that she couldn't go with me, but I wasn't going to miss it. So yeah, that was it. They had some new merch. They had some new merchandise too. There's a new, I think now, John, we talked about this before. There's a new, that was released last night, a new image with a woolly mammoth stomping on the Whisky a Go-Go. And it said Mammoth sold out. And I think those shirts and posters are probably available on his site now. But last night was the first time I saw it. It was really cool.
Yeah, his site's not updated. And
man, that's a shame.
He's on tour, yeah.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. Yeah.
It will be though.
Got to have it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you guys, I mean, most. I'm sure just about everybody, almost everybody that so many people have seen him live. So many people have checked it, saw him on the Guns N' Roses tour and everything. At the risk of doing a little humble brag here, I feel like I got the better show. I'm sorry.
Oh, you did. Absolutely.
You did.
Yeah, it was something else, man.
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice. Great.
And I should point out too, I met a lot, it was so cool, hanging out at the Rainbow beforehand and before we walked over and then going into the show, like everybody there, everybody was in such a good mood. I met so many new people, so many really, really cool people that, people there. I was standing next to a couple, Tom or Tony and Val Smith from Utah. And they flew in yesterday for this show, and we were talking about this stuff, and we were talking about Dave and his retirement, and which brings me to something else too. Tony, we should talk about that.
We'll get
Okay, yeah, but just everybody, it was it's such good. A lot of people there last night. It was their first concert back. That kind of thing. There was a lot of that, a lot of goodwill in the crowd, a lot of energy.
Sure. Yeah.
And everybody felt safe. They did check vaccine passports at the door. They did all that stuff. You had to wear a mask in. So, they were on point. But
you had to wear a mask.
Yeah, to get in the door. Once you were in with a drink in hand, they were fine.
Yeah.
But it was just good energy. It was just great energy. And that's about the best way I can describe it. So
sounds
nice.
Awesome.
So Wolf's gonna stay out on the road until the 23rd of this month, and he's going to call it a year. He's got dates scheduled for June of 2022 in Europe with the Scorpions.
I heard that today.
Yeah, so, but he's going to wind things down the 23rd. so Simon, GNR is heading your way here shortly to Australia and New Zealand, but Mammoth is not on the bill.
No, that's a shame. It would have been awesome to see Mammoth down here, obviously. But yeah, I just think with so much lockdown still happening in Australia, travel's obviously very, very difficult, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'll be surprised. I think, is it November that Gunners were meant to come down here? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I'll be surprised if that happens, to be honest.
I was just going to say that. I just didn't want to jinx it.
No, yeah.
Honestly, I was just about to say that.
And I don't say that to be a downer at all. Of course, I would.
No,
everyone would love it. I just, I mean, we're only a few weeks away from that, and Melbourne's still in stage 4 lockdown. So I just don't really see how they can run around doing a tour, you know. But
yeah,
they had dates scheduled in Mexico in between this U.S. run and going over there, and they scratched those Mexico dates.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, it'll be such a shame and another blow to the music industry, especially down here, because the entertainment industry has just been slaughtered for the last 18 months. But you know, so everyone's ready, and obviously we're coming into our summertime, which means it's like the weather is right, the mood is right with everyone for like Gunners concerts and stuff. But I can't really see big gigs happening till next year.
Yeah. Well, Simon, don't feel bad, because in about a week, all we're going to have is music, because Hollywood's going on strike next Sunday night. So
really,
yeah, the entire movie and television industry is going on strike.
Wow.
The union, the crew and stage union, that like everything from rigging, lighting, electricians, everything, like all set crew, they're all going on strike because they've been underpaid. I have friends in the union. I have friends in all kinds of stuff. I've been a PA before on sets before when I'm and it's just the hours that they work are ridiculous. They're always underpaid. 14-hour days is the norm, and it's just So that's the hot topic here in LA right now.
Okay, well, good luck to them. I mean, obviously they do work incredibly hard, and they should be paid what they deserve, you know. So
yeah, they should. I stand by them 100%.
Yeah. I hope it works out for them too. But look, for now, I guess it's just going to be smaller gigs, just like here in Melbourne. How many, Charles, did you say that was the capacity for the Whisky again? Was it 400 or something?
It's 372 plus staff, so you're at 410, maybe 415. And then they do pack it a little bit. You know?
Of course, yeah. So it'll sort of stretch out a little bit.
So you're looking at 450, 460 people max. Yeah. That's a slam full club, standing room only.
Gotcha. But they only sell 370 tickets. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool. That sounds like, I mean, the Corner Hotel here in Melbourne, where we're going to do the Van Halen show, sounds like and it looks like it's a similar kind of place. The stage is probably not quite as wide, but it fits a bit more people. So I think the capacity at the Corner Hotel is about 750. So
wow, nice.
Wow, that's a good
sized gig. So Simon, do you want to talk about?
Sorry,
Simon, do you want to talk about some of the guests that you're having? Who's like your singer, Nancy? Is that right?
Oh, Nina. Yeah. So we have the wonderful and incredible Nina Ferro, who's going to get up and do. What we decided to do with the second half of the show, as you were saying earlier, we're gonna do the Van Halen 1 record just like we did at the Melbourne Guitar Show in track order, and then it made sense to rather than do a different album for the second half of the show, let's just have some fun and cherry pick all our favorite Van Halen songs and get up lots of special guests, sort of like the who's who of incredible Melbourne singers. So, and the other thing that we thought would be really fun, and especially because the Sammy stuff, especially on the 5150 record when he just came into the band, is so damn high.
I was going to say that. I know you're singing.
Yeah, because I mean, and Nina is a singer. She's a trained singer. She has a really high voice. But obviously being female, I thought that she'd have no problem doing them in the pitch that they are on the album. But even she was like, so are you guys maybe tuning down the guitars? And I said to her, yes, we can tune down. And she said, yeah, that'll definitely help, and we have Darren. We have another great singer, Darren Constable, who is one of those rare males that can pull off Sammy stuff. So he's going to probably do like the lion's share of things. But let me see if I can find the set list for you. And then people
definitely.
Might be curious as to what we're actually going to play. Give me 1 second. I'm sure I've got it in a folder somewhere.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When you sent me the set list, I wept. I was like, it was that good. I was like, this is going to be one hell of a show. It was. I like your idea. I like your idea of kind of cherry picking the best of the rest, kind of thing. So
yeah, that's what we thought would be fun, and then we can mix up, some Roth era stuff with some Sammy era stuff. We'll probably keep it to Roth and Sammy, to be honest, but not because there isn't other great stuff like with Gary Sharon and whatever, but it's just that for me personally, the songs that I grew up with as a child and as a young teenager were that stuff,
Yeah.
So
especially what makes that special too is there's a lot of tribute bands that I've seen, a lot of Van Halen tribute bands that stick to one era. It's like one or the other. I've seen it. I've seen a number of them. Van Halen, Atomic Punks.
Van Halen, the only tribute band. I want to see that.
So some of them they stick to one era or another, and it's really cool that what you're doing, it doesn't alienate any fans.
Yeah, that's right. And then we've also got an incredible flamboyant Melbourne DJ who's going to be. Rather than have like a support band or any other bands, we just thought, let's just keep the night clean. Obviously, we don't want to move any of our stuff after sound check, so it sort of takes care of that as well. But we have DJ Master Bates, who is going to be he's an absolute character. He does all the festivals around Australia, like
the Master of Domain.
Yeah, like the big outdoor festivals where you've got like the huge billing and thousands of people. So he's the DJ they use, and he'll get dressed up as John McEnroe or David Lee Roth or whoever. And so we've got him, and actually it was his idea. I said, really, I just want you to play like requests of anyone that's in the room. If they've got a Van Halen song we're not playing live, let them hear it. Whatever that is.
Oh yeah.
So he set up a QR code process where anyone that's bought a ticket can actually use the QR code and then request what songs that they want to hear off the other record.
Wow, dude, that's awesome.
So that means
movies.
What was that?
Dirty movies.
Oh yeah, exactly. And we thought that would be really fun because that way the punters there actually get to listen to the songs that they want to hear rather than the DJ just spitting out songs, Sure. And so we thought that, anyway, I could read this out, but let's just see. I don't know if this will go onto that's not clear enough, is it?
Oh, no, I see it now.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Summer nights.
Yeah.
Roll on back. The full
Yes. Yeah. Look at that.
Good job. Yeah.
Now you're talking.
That is so good.
Hey, Simon, do you have a Steinberger? You're going to do Get Up?
Good enough.
Yeah. I don't own a Steinberger, but I'm being graciously lent one with the trans trim so that we can do Get Up and Summer Nights and that stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Simon, on that list, were you finishing up with Dreams? Is that the last song?
Yeah, we thought that I just really had it in my heart that I think that the final, because we were hoping to have a video screen up too, so that when we're not on stage, we could actually, like while the DJ's playing people's songs that they want to hear, we could actually have a slideshow of all the great photos of Eddie, because the idea of the show originally was it was to put on just after he passed is kind of like a celebration, but a wake sort of, you know, and and yeah, that's right. And but with fun, you know, where people could drink and tell their stories and hug it out and all of that stuff. And obviously now so much time has passed because of the damn lockdowns that moment's kind of gone. But I still think it would be really cool to when we're not on stage to have a screen with like a slideshow of stuff in the band.
Yeah, definitely.
Show us that list one more time, Simon.
Of course.
I love that first three right there. Bam, bam, bam.
Hey, Simon.
Oh, yeah.
Girl Gone Bad, Push Comes to Shove. Oh, that's a great list.
Girl Gone Bad, man. Oh.
Hey, Simon.
Yeah.
Good enough. Are you going to have a bass string on one of your guitars?
Well,
you got to do it, man. You got to do it.
That's a good question, John. So probably not. I mean, I do have a 7-string. So what I was thinking would be kind of fun and keep it neat and clean is rather than use a guitar for the whole song that had like an A bass string, I thought I'd probably use Neil's 5150 guitar, Annette, and then what I'll do, I've got a maintenance 7-string that they built for me that I did all that stuff with Virgil Donati, and I could have that on one of those what I call the Bon Jovi guitar stand, which is you know the freestanding thing where you can just walk up to it and play, right? And basically have the 7-string tuned down to A on that, and just with like a little A-B switch in front of it. So I can just walk up to it, hit the switch, and it clicks the 7-string into my rig. And then I can do all that low A stuff just off, you know, a couple of feet off to the side on a different guitar, and then go back to the 5150 guitar.
Yeah, you got to do it, man. You got to do that.
Yeah, because that low A is such a part of that song that I think if I didn't do it, people would start throwing things on stage, you know.
I was gonna suggest that you put the A string on your Neil guitar, 50 and Annette, and then if the neck snapped, you'll have an extra neck. You're gonna have your tech throw it on in between songs.
Yeah, don't put the A string on that. Don't put the bass string on that guitar. I'll make you the 1984 guitar, which you used for that song. So I'll give you that one.
What about if with that spare neck, I just put one bass A string on it and then a pickup at the end of the neck and just use that?
There you go.
Actually, we should have Brendan make you a cigar box guitar for that. Then
there you go, an A bass string. Right?
Awesome. Yeah, an A bass string is cigar box guitar with a pickup.
That would be brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, look, so that first half of the second show is going to be a real, you know, a gear shift, if you like, because we're going to go from having just played the first album to then really doing like a bunch of songs of 5150. And I think that'll be really cool and refreshing for people's ears. And then after I fart around for a while on the guitar on my own on stage, then we'll go back more into some Roth stuff like, you know, Girl Gone Bad and Push Comes to Shove, and actually have a chance to play some songs that weren't really like singles necessarily, like songs that are fun for the band to play. And then the idea with finishing with Dreams is because I just think, and especially if the whole thing is really meant to be a tip of the hat to Ed, then just the lyrical meaning of that song is perfect, and it's also a really uplifting, happy feeling song. True. And I had an idea for the end, which I was going to save for a surprise, but since you guys can't be there, I'll tell you. You know how it finishes with that kind of the keyboard part, you know, and it goes ba da 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 bam. Yep. I was thinking of having that on track or whatever, and holding off that last chord and having like a gap and all the house lights out, and then having just like I'll record on a piano. Does anyone know how the end of Beatles' Day in the Life ends? How it ends on that huge piano chord with the orchestra?
Yeah.
I was thinking it would be really moving to just have that and have still the house lights out, and then just have a picture of Ed on the screen. You know,
that would be cool.
Wow.
I hear that sound every time I turn my MacBook on.
Oh, really?
That's what it is. That's what Apple did. I don't know. A lot of people don't know that. That's the last note of Day in the Life. Yeah, when you turn
I never knew that was the last note of Day in the Life. There you go.
Yeah, Steve Jobs was a big Beatles fan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
So that's why I thought it would be cool to finish with Dreams, just because it's such a uplifting song to leave people with,
Definitely. I think that's a great idea. A nice, more of a major key kind of happy way to go out. You know what I mean? I think that's the way he would have liked it too.
I think he would have. Yeah, I like to think he would have liked that. And also, that's the song that Nina is going to sing. And I'm lucky enough that I actually I found online somehow a backing of Dreams, but with no Sammy's vocal. So I got. So Nina came around to my studio one day and she put her vocal on top of the actual Van Halen backing, and it just sounds unbelievable.
Oh, cool.
Great. Awesome.
So I already know that if we don't butcher it as a band, it's going to sound good. So,
All right. So next question I have for you is, so are you taking all this time because you guys are in lockdown? Are you using a Kemper? Are you going through putting together sounds for the Sammy era? And is it going to be a nice array of different tones for different albums for different songs? You're going to try to match it up like for that kind of for OU812, 5150, that kind of thing.
Yep. So
Sammy don't mess around. The Haas don't mess around.
As you know, I used the Kemper on the YouTube video, and so I thought for this one, and especially if we're going to film it, I mean, for me, because it's a lot of fun. I mean, I like nerding out with gear and equipment as much as anybody. The Kemper is easy to use and it's functional, and you can get a good sound straight away without too much dicking around. But I thought while I'm in lockdown, it would be way more fun to absolutely just dick around and try and do it properly. So I'm going to do the full wet, dry, wet 3 Marshall stacks.
Nice.
And,
Nice.
Wow. And what I've done is I probably shouldn't have, but I just couldn't resist. So I've got an old H3000 that I've had in the studio rack for ages. So I've already pulled that out of the studio and put it into a guitar rack. And I bought a Lexicon delay and reverb unit that'll take care of all that extra stuff. And then, of course, I'll have the usual things on the floor. Like I'll have a Script Phase 90 and a flanger and the usual bits. And combine it so that it'll be like, hopefully be able to get the sound of all the different records as a wet, dry, wet thing. So it's going to be a lot of work putting that rig together. But what I'm also going to do is as I'm getting the rig sort of close, I'll definitely take some videos and stuff for you guys so you can actually see.
Yeah, you got to do that. So basically, the lockdown is being a productive time for you. That's good.
Yeah.
You answered all the questions correctly. I was hoping you were going to do all this stuff. So now I want to fly to Melbourne and see this thing. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. And for me too, I mean, the whole purpose of putting it on, as much as it's to put it on for the people so that they can, get together and celebrate the life of Ed, but it's for me to feel like a little kid again, and for me, what I know will make me feel like a little kid is when I'm turning up to sound check in the afternoon at the corner hotel and having to drag in like 6 quad boxes and stuff. I'm just, I could almost not have to do the show after that. That's my show,
That's awesome. That is awesome.
No, wait, aren't you having Brad be your roadie that night?
Yes.
Gotta get Brad cooked.
And now we know why you're having Master Bates there, because there's no way you would be able to do that with all that equipment, move that stuff on and off, right?
Actually, you should have him help because he's good with his hands.
Look, that's exactly right too. I mean, the whole thing is the corner hotel stage. I mean, it's a rock club like the Whisky, so the stage is not huge. By the time that we've got all our stuff up there, I mean, we obviously would never strike it, but there won't be room for another band to put stuff in front of it,
Yeah. And what did I just see? Did Brad or
Kurt just said that Brad's going to be filming it.
You better be alive.
Yeah, so you're going to film it, you're going to mix it, and then we're going to get to see it on YouTube again. So listen, I want you to get up really early the day after the show, and I want you to get on that, all right?
Why are you giving them to the day after the show? What do you? I want to see it the day after the show.
So John,
I want to see it that night.
So John, if I haven't mixed the next day to at least send you some audio, is that good?
Yeah, that's good enough. That'll hold us over, okay?
Well, remember, he's one day ahead of us. So by the time that he plays the show, it should already be recorded.
Exactly. We forgot.
I'll be like bending space and time to get you the mixed recording of the show at the same time as it's going for you guys.
That sounds. We'll send William Shatner over on a rocket to get it.
On a phallic-shaped rocket, right?
Brilliant. Now, look, I'll definitely do all of that because, the same thing as Neil talking about Mammoth at the Whisky. It's a small club, and it's a lot of work, obviously, to do it properly, or to at least try and do it properly. And we would love for you to see it. So that's why I'm going to film it.
And all of us nerds, we're all going to geek out on it. So that's great.
Yep.
Yeah, and it also means because I'm the one mixing it. If we didn't have a good night, then the files might get lost. But, we are.
The bass for some reason cranks so loud that you could almost not hear the guitar, right?
I'm sure. Look, I'm sure that there'll be some people like filming with their phone anyway, so we'll get some snippets up in the meantime.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cool.
Yeah. And so any idea when this is going to go down?
Yeah. So at the moment, it's penciled in for January the 14th.
All right. Good. We have something to look forward to in the winter over here.
At the moment, I mean, it's been cancelled 4 times because of Melbourne lockdown. So even though I'm hopeful, I don't want to get too excited just yet. But you're right, though. It gives me plenty of time to prepare, so I've got no excuse.
That's the only good thing about it, I guess, right?
I've got no excuse with the parts, and I got no excuse with the rig. So anyway, there you go.
Well, the solar clips you sent me. I mean, if you guys think it sounds good through the screen here, he sent me a brief solo clip, man. And it sounds like freaking Live Without a Net. I don't know what to say.
Thanks.
Simon, show us that guitar again, brother.
Climbing chromatic, man. Oh, that's fierce.
That's gorgeous.
You nailed that, brother.
It's really gorgeous.
Like the ghosted fade where the gaffer tape was. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
it's awesome.
It's really cool, Neil. I love how you've done that. There, that ghosted fade. It's exactly right.
Neil's an expert. You're with that X-Acto knife, Neil, huh?
yeah. I razor blade the hell out of it. Actually, and one of the little tricks, Simon, I'm sure you picked up on the fact that there's the little black stripe underneath where the whammy bar is right now, and there's a little edge of it that's not a painted stripe. It's actually electrical tape.
Okay, well, can I just tell you that until I received the guitar, I never knew that wasn't paint.
Really? Did you think I missed one? Yeah. That's actually electrical tape.
Yeah. That way, yeah.
So we knew Jack.
Awesome.
So
yeah, the story goes, at least what I've heard second and third hand, was that was added so that Eddie it's in line perfectly with the jack, so that Eddie on stage could be able to plug in and unplug his thing. So, but that stripe wasn't painted on originally, so it's actually electrical tape.
That makes perfect sense for sure. Yeah,
definitely. This is going to be great.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Can't wait.
Yeah, definitely can't wait for this.
Nice.
Tony, the craziest that reminded me, you were talking about the tape. The craziest with Tony was when you figured out why he had that tape around the strap, like the whole horn was almost taped at that show. And you figured out from the evidence, from your memory of the show you were at. That's nutty.
And the pictures, yeah.
You know that story, Simon?
No, what's that one, Tom?
Well, you got to ask Mr. Tea Cake.
Okay, so what's that story?
Greensboro in '81, they walking on stage, and Ed broke strap lock.
Yep.
And
Damn.
they taped him up and shipped him out on stage, and
so his guitar was literally duct taped to him that night.
Yeah. Right.
It was.
That's awesome.
This up here.
Oh, okay. Yep.
On the white.
Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I don't know if any of you guys have I've had to make guitar straps out of gaffer tape before. and that might just be because one of the guitarists in the band, being me, might have forgotten the guitar strap.
And you know what's funny about that, Simon? This is you know, for a period of time, I'm 6'2", and there was a period of time where I was the look was to hold your guitar as low as possible. Everybody wanted to play punk rock like the Ramones. So I had to go. I was a struggle to go find a long enough guitar strap so I could still have it hanging down by my knees and try to play when I was trying to play like 90s punk stuff. So it was straps and I don't get along that often. It's a love-hate relationship.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, Neil, you were asking me about the David Lee Roth video.
Yeah, it came up in conversation last night with a couple of people we were talking to. They asked if, you know, they said, "Did you hear about Dave? And are you going to see Dave?" And they said, you know, they just heard that Alex might play with them and all this stuff. And I just happened to mention, I mentioned what you had recently reminded me of, that, you know, how interesting is it that Dave announced his retirement at the same time that his video said Dave's last show.
Well, but backstory, this video is A Little Ain't Enough from 1991. You know, and in this video you see this image.
All right.
And then he wheels up in a car, and then you see,
look at that,
this image. And that was Sunday.
Wow.
30 years ago that video came out, and I thought that was so insane.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Thought he would.
So we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but now he's hedging on it, right? From that poster that he put out.
Yeah. You sent me something, John, that new Vegas ad that says the final tour, unless it isn't.
Right. Oh. So I think Dave sold out the ones in Vegas, and he's like, "Hey, wait a minute, maybe
I got a copy of that.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it a little longer."
I'll do a West Coast and then an East Coast. You got to do one in Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, hasn't Motley Crue retired like 3 or 4 times? So
that's all right.
Guys, I hope Dave never retires. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there.
Me too.
It's the end of an age.
Hey, speaking of retiring, gentlemen, I'm going to have to split, unfortunately. But
Simon, thank you so very, very much. This has been off the chain, buddy.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
No, I want to thank you guys for having me on, and of course, a billion, trillion, gazillion thanks to you, Neil, for this incredible instrument that you've delivered to me all the way here into the future. And I can't thank you guys enough. Obviously, you know, I love tuning in and watching the show every week. And Thanks for getting me on. Thanks for the guitar. What I'll do, I know Neil and Tom, you've heard that snippet that I recorded on Pro Tools of Live Without a Net, but that was just with my Fender Junker. I'll redo it now with a net, and I'll send all you guys a little snippet.
Excellent.
You should start calling it. You should start calling it now. Live with a net.
Live with a net.
Yeah, live with a net. Because you're not without her anymore.
Live with a net. Yeah. Thank you ever so much, Neil. She is absolutely gorgeous. I've got to duck for a couple of hours, but I'll be back in the studio. I will record that little snippet and I'll send it to all you guys.
Can't wait. That's
absolutely. And the last thing I'm going to say, before I know you got to take off, I'm going to say this one more time again. I can't thank you enough for handling the broken guitar neck the way you handled it. It really could have gone horribly, and I think you managed to just pull something out of the ether and just realize that there was some divine hand at play here. And I think this story is so much more exciting and fun and interesting now, considering how we're choosing to look at it. I think it's just beautiful.
Look, I just knew with all the heart and soul that you put into building her that whether something was wrong or something not wrong, it didn't matter. However it was going to be was ordained and meant to be, So, and I really did believe that. And I thought, okay, let's just see if this is fixable. And thankfully it was fixable and quickly. And now, and I didn't even know at the time it was the exact same split as Ed. So that's even cooler. So,
Yeah.
It
is. Wow. Yeah. And again, this is going out this week. This is on the way. So you got another one.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. Thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Simon Hosford.
Take care, brother. Be good, Simon. You rock.
All righty, Hoss.
Whew, what a guy.
Awesome dude.
Yeah.
My goodness.
What a guy.
Awesome. Dude, man.
Very cool.
And
what do you want to do now?
That was a heck of a story. That was a heck of a story. We can't top that.
A great show tonight.
We can't top that. But what we are gonna do, guys and girls watching, if you want one of these new cool guitar picks, there's stuff in the description that will tell you how to get one. And let's take care of Neil right there. If you guys or gals want to contact Neil about a build, his links are in the description.
Please do, folks, ladies and gentlemen. I honestly say I love what I do. I really love what I do, and so I'm happy to discuss any and all ideas with people to give you the guitar you want. So hit me up. Charles, you're next in line, by the way.
Yes, I am.
And then Tom.
I am. We'll be doing the same thing again here in a couple of weeks, guys.
Yeah.
Right
on. And our friend Brendan B. Squared
Butt cheek
handcrafts custom cigar box guitars.
Angry butt cheeks.
Love
a lot like this. And his links are down below. Also, hit Brendan up.
He is awesome too. Brendan is a good guy.
Right back there. Yeah.
Rock, dude.
Brendan. And also, for those of you with tattoos, ink the original essential tattoo care high-grade formulas with organic ingredients to hydrate and protect environment and reef safe. Fight the fade. Take care.
Whew. We packed a lot in tonight.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Good show.
That one. Yeah. So Neil, are you working on anything right now?
Guitar wise, yeah. I've got several. Right now, I'm currently in the middle. I've got 2 pre-ordered 5150s. I've got 2 pre-ordered Frankies that are done, basically. I've set one aside for Charles because I know exactly what. What's that?
Any nuggets nearby to show? Any pieces or any steps?
Yeah, you want me to show you? You want me to
show my guitar? Go ahead and show it, man. Go and show it to him.
I'll show yours. Hang on.
He built me such a nice guitar, you guys. I'm absolutely speechless,
Charles,
and I cannot wait.
Oh, here it comes.
Let me first show you. I just got done adding stickers after the relicking process for 3 bodies. Got one there. Is there something on my screen? Are you guys seeing that?
Yep,
okay, cool.
We see it.
Yeah, it's a bug on your screen.
Yeah. So we got these bad boys. These are more heavily relicked. The customers wanted these far more, so the black stripes are actually much more chalked up than the other ones. Pick one. So there's those. Yep. And then I actually have to do some untaping tonight too. Right before the show, I finished adding red to a couple Frankies, and I got to let that while they're still tacky. So after this, I'm going to untape them, which, by the way, is always like Christmas morning. That's the funnest part. Tom knows that's the funnest part about it. But here is
look at this, guys. Oh yeah.
Wow. This is
out of that thing, Neil.
This is an identical copy of Tony's, the exact same one you got.
Yep.
And we've got.
Nice.
Excellent.
We got blue paint on the back. We got, again, this, we like with Tony's, we talked about this before. It does have a skunk stripe on the back of this particular neck, which I was able to keep costs down and do some things. So there were some choices I made as opposed to building a $2,000 guitar. Some things I was able to find and kind of keep costs down, and that's what I do with every build. That's why for all my commission builds, I work specifically with the person to find out what exactly they want. If somebody wants 100% authenticity, if they want a $300 neck on the guitar, I'll put a $300 neck on the guitar. That's totally fine.
There you go.
But
there you go.
I also want to make sure, as we talked about when I did Tony's show way back then, the one thing I want to do is be able to let everybody in the world that wants a piece of Eddie Van Halen to be able to have one and not have price be the issue why they can't have a piece of memorabilia. So that's
there you go.
That's what we do.
A guitar's playability is outstanding, man. I can't wait.
This has some low action too, man.
Yeah, that's how I want it. Nice.
This is a player. This is a player.
Nice.
So yeah. So that's my pleasure, man. I can't wait to get this to you. We'll do this again soon.
We will.
That's yours, Charles.
I know, Tony. I'm stoked over here.
Lord.
Stoked.
Dude.
Thanks, Christopher.
Is that done, Neil? Is that
one? That Frankie? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ready to go. I actually got it back from my guitar tech because the one thing after every build, I take it to my personal guitar tech to check the intonation. I always like having a second set of eyes on it. So he checks the action, checks the nut height, checks the intonation of the Floyd, and then when he gives it back to me, he's like, "Yep." He signs off on it. Then it's good. It's ready to go.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Excellent.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay. That was fun with Simon tonight.
He is such a good guy. He's such a good guy. And for everybody in the chat too, Simon makes the rounds. He does appear on other shows too and everything.
Yeah,
I encourage everybody to follow everything he does. He's oh my God. He just regurgitates information and stories and fun.
It's
he's got
real positive.
He's got a ridiculous resume that he doesn't talk about much. He is humble. Tom, we've talked before about, you can tell, when people are successful, there are some people that brag about it and make it known, and then there are some people that don't. And Simon has worked with so many people. He's been the musical director for Australian shows like Australia's Got Talent, X Factor, those type of things. He never talks about this stuff. He doesn't put his resume on display.
And he's serious about it.
yeah. But it's just, I mean, I feel lucky to know him. And Tom, you're the one that introduced me to him. So I thank you. I'm lucky.
He's very giving. When you have a question, he's like, "Oh yeah, let me check it out for you, mate. I'll answer you." I'm like, "No, take your time." He's like, "No, I'll look right away." I'm like, "All right, man."
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
generous and giving as well.
Yeah. We've been this Halenville Live has been blessed to have some pretty damn good guests, and I'm thankful for a lot of the people we've met because of this show.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
definitely,
absolutely.
Cool.
And we got a great intro theme song.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you play us out, Tony?
I am going to play us out. So kids, thanks for hanging out tonight.
Love you guys. You
Happy
guys
Hope
rock.
you enjoyed the show with Simon. That
Look at
was
that.
cool. That was so cool.
Nice.
Let me ask you this, Neil, in closing. I mean, how perfect of a story with this headstock. I mean, you can't write scripts like this.
Spooky, man. Exactly.
No, if I honestly, I'll be totally honest with you. My first, when we started talking, I was live with him. He opened that in front of me. It's just him and I on a Zoom, and his girlfriend was filming it, and he looked at that, and I knew, no matter how much it was fixable, that moment was gone. The moment that he was waiting for, that Christmas morning as a little kid, opening up the present you waited all year for, that moment was stolen from both of us. He was never going to get it back. And my heart broke. And he tried to reassure me that you packed it well. It wasn't your, he knew, Charles, you mentioned this before. I mean, I packed the shit out of it. And
when Tony unboxed his, I was like, my God, dude, talk about overkill.
You could have drug it behind the UPS truck.
Yeah. But the thing is, my initial reaction was I kind of thought Simon was saying all the right things because he knew that I was upset. And he was trying to be positive and trying to, not hurt my feelings, because I'm used to other guitar players that would be assholes and be like, dude, this is your responsibility to get it to me in one piece. So I was prepared. I was almost ready for that kind of response. And he never gave it that response. He just kept saying, let's see if we can fix this. Let's do this. And I told him immediately, I'm like, I've got another neck for you already painted, already done. I'm like, I'll send it tomorrow. I'll get it to you if we have to postpone this unveiling. But Simon never once made me feel like, he's like, hey, let's, if it's fixable, we fix it. If it's not, then get me a new neck and we'll do this again. But he was still just as excited to get it. And, I can't stress enough how thankful I am that happened, that situation happened with that kind of person, because he is the perfect person to endure something what I thought was horrible at the time and spin it and be like, no, this is the better story. This is, and he's right. He's actually right. It's a much better story, but I don't think I would have come up with that. I was stunned.
Let me ask you this. Was it him or was it you? But we all know he broke the headstock on that guitar sometime around 88. But when after all this is happening and you're seeing this, when does this hit your brain?
It hit it. I brought it up. It probably hit me within a couple of minutes because I was trying to scramble for anything I was trying to scramble to make a positive thing, like, oh, hey, well, that's funny. Eddie's broke too, that kind of thing. And he was kind of like, oh, really? I didn't know that. And then he was like, well, let's see if we can fix it. And then the next, and again, because of the time change, I'm not sure if it was morning here the next morning and then it was still the same day for him or something, because he said when this whole happened, I remember, because of the time change, I was getting ready for bed. It was like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning here. It was daytime for him. He said he's going to go to his guitar tech and talk to his guitar tech. And he's like, by the time you wake up, I'll be with my guitar tech. So all this happened in the same day for him. whereas this took 2 days for me. So the next morning when I woke up, first thing I did was, Instagram message him, and he was with his guitar tech. And then his guitar tech confirmed what I said, which was, yeah, Eddie's broke in the same spot. And then at that point, I spent all night scrambling for pictures to try and find a picture of the back of Eddie's headstock. And Simon hadn't sent me a picture of the back of his yet. So at this point, all I knew was Eddie's guitar neck broke too. It was fixable. At that point, Simon was with his guitar tech, and he goes, "No, dude, it's in the same spot." He goes, "It's in the exact same spot. Like, we can fix this, and this is amazing. This is almost too good to be true. This is a great story." And most importantly, I can't, to not to beat a dead horse, but his guitar tech, I give all the kudos to. Joe was awesome. Joe immediately said, "Oh, I can fix that, and it'll be ready in 2 days. No problem." Wow. So that made that kind of alleviated the stress from both of us. And then we just started to sink into the, wow, this is a cool story. Once the panic was gone, once the initial, like, oh my God, what have I done kind of thing. Once he said, yeah, we got this, no problem. Then we started, because even up through earlier today, before we went live, Simon was telling me he was absolutely convinced Eddie had a hand in it. Eddie somehow had a hand in this during transit. He was like, what are the chances that this guitar got lost on the way? We couldn't track it. I had to open an investigation to find it. He gets it, and it's broke in the same place that Eddie's broke during the week that we're celebrating the anniversary of Eddie's death. Like, Simon put all this stuff together. Wow. And I initially wanted to believe that he was just trying to say the right things to make me feel better. But now, after talking to him tonight, after having him on the show, I both of us are choosing to believe that course of action. I think we, I honestly believe, as Simon does, I honestly believe Eddie had some hand in it. It's too good a story to be accidental.
Dude. Great story.
Yeah. It's just
that. Yeah. That is one of the greatest stories I've ever heard.
It really is. It really is.
But I mean, I would almost be more happy, if it happened. I mean, it makes it complete.
Yeah. Well, especially, assuming what his guitar tech is, he said that he used some tight bond wood sealer, wood glue, and he said it is solid. Plus, also, for anybody that plays with a locking nut, the only real tension on that high E string is when you're tuning it. Once you get it tuned and you lock it with the nut, you can alleviate tension. I mean, the fact is, when it broke, it was still in tune, and he played it with the headstock flopping over. So that shows that that there's not a whole lot of tension on the headstock now that the locking nut is in place and the guitar is tuned to E flat, which is what he wanted. So yeah, I mean, I genuinely think this was meant to happen. I don't want to get all preachy and spiritual, and I don't know what people believe out there, but I believe that there was a higher power at work in this, and whatever kind of spirituality you subscribe to or don't subscribe to, this was just a magical moment, and I'll leave it at that.
Very cool.
So
Very
on,
cool.
on Ed's, when it happened, it was Zeke who added the extra peg on the other side there, right?
Yeah.
It was Zeke. It was that late. It was that early. He was still around.
Well, did Matt Brook take over in '88?
I thought the Ernie Ball guys did that, and I thought they scraped off the Kramer logo at that time, and they put the Ernie Ball sticker on it. I thought they repaired it for him, but maybe I'm wrong.
You might be right. Well, I know. Actually, you may be right, because that was around the time that they cleaned the neck, and he got mad.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah, I think you might be right. I remember it broke on the tour, though, and then we didn't see the guitar again until the Cabo Wabo show. the Cabo Wabo opening. And that was the first time I think the guitar made a public appearance. And that was when it had the 7th tuning peg. I don't know if John, you may be right. You might be right.
Yeah, I think he was already working with the Ernie Ball guys, because the Cabo Wabo thing, I think that was like, wasn't that early in like 1990 that they did that thing on the MTV weekend?
Yeah. Was it?
So I think it was that far out. After,
okay. Well,
and I think they did do that. Like you said, I remember they cleaned the neck, and I think that they scraped off the Kramer and put the Ernie Ball on there too.
That part of the story sounds familiar. You're definitely right about that. So I don't know when exactly the tuning peg was added, but what you're saying makes logical sense.
I still hate it.
Well, no, Tony, it's funny that you mentioned, are you going to add the 7th tuning peg? Because Simon and I talked about that privately yesterday. And one of the things that he said, well, I could, but I want it to look like the 5150 tour. I want it to look like the 1986 tour, the Live Without a Net show. And John, privately, like without saying anything to him, because of course at this point I was depressed. So I was like, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy. Privately, I was like, it would look cool for a second, but you'd get over it. I'd rather it look like the way I built it. I don't want to draw attention to the fact that it's broken. So, it was, so I'm happy. I'm honestly kind of happy that he chose not to.
Gotcha. I am too, because you know what, especially in line with him doing the solo from Live Without a Net, you want it to look like that. He wanted that era, and that's what we got. So that's cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope it happens in January, the show, because I'm really looking forward to that.
Me too. Yeah, and like he said tonight, that's been bumped a couple of times, and I know every time, because he's the one doing all the promoting. He's the one putting in all the work. He's doing everything to get. He is gonna fill 750 people in that place. Yeah. So every time it gets moved, that's got to, my heart breaks a little bit for him.
That's why I was trying to look for the positive, and the positive is that he's got more downtime, so he's got time to really go deeper diving. You know what I mean? He's going to get the exact tones and everything. It's going to be great for us to geek out on, for sure.
I think from talking to him for a while, I think this is the impression I got. Initially, they wanted to do this right away, right after Eddie passed, and they weren't ready. And it was during COVID, and they couldn't do the show they wanted at the time, and it kept getting pushed. So I think he was probably afraid, and I'm making an assumption here. I'm not speaking for Simon, but I think he kind of was worried that the longer it got pushed out, the less interest there would be, and people wouldn't care anymore. Right. As a year has gone by, I think Simon, and he's joined all of our groups and all of our chats and all of our shows and stuff. I think Simon has realized that that's not going away. It doesn't matter when you do it. That's not going away. So now I think he's back. He's now not like you said, John. I think now he's probably happy he's got more time.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm psyched. I can't wait. It'll be nice for us in the nice cold winter. That's something to look forward to in January.
It will. It really will. It really will. That'll be something.
Yeah, that's great. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Mousing around like it should. Excuse me. All right, so we are gonna scramble out of here. Thanks for watching, everyone. Tune in next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Halenville Live. Have a great week, everyone.
Be well, you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for staying with us this long. Hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did.
Baby.
A lot of fun tonight. A fun show tonight.
All right, kids. Any last words, Charles Green?
Guys, it doesn't matter if you go north, south, east, or west. In the town of Halenville, all roads lead right to Van Halen. We love you guys. You have a great week. And rock on.
We gone.
Hey,